What's up, Chiefs Kingdom? Noah Gray here, tight end for the Kansas City Chiefs. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe to Josh's channel and check out showmefootball.com for more.
Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to another video on my channel. My name is Josh Fan of showmefootball.com and arrowheadaddict.com. And we are less than 24 hours away from the Kansas City Chiefs divisional round matchup versus the Jacksonville Jaguars at Arrowhead Stadium. And I am absolutely pumped, guys. And I really wanted to get a preview out before tomorrow. I've been really busy this week, hadn't gotten around to it yet, but I want to give you my thoughts pregame and my predictions for this game, what I think is going to happen. Between the Jacksonville Jaguars and the Los Angeles Chargers, because we were all pretty sure that whoever the Kansas City Chiefs played this weekend was going to be somebody from that game. I preferred the Jacksonville Jaguars because I thought they were an easier matchup for Kansas City. They're a better matchup for Kansas City. I don't know if I still think that after watching what the Chargers did against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Maybe I did want to see Brandon Staley again. Maybe I did want to see the Chargers again. But the reason I didn't prior to that game was because it's just really hard to beat the same team 3 times in 1 year. And the Chargers still have Justin Herbert, who I think is a very good quarterback. And he's a quarterback that's capable of giving the Chiefs a run for their money. And I'm not saying that Trevor Lawrence isn't, but Trevor Lawrence hadn't really started playing very good football until the second half of this past season. And we've seen Justin Herbert plenty of times. We know what he can do. And I wasn't really sure what we were going to get out of Trevor Lawrence. And then you see how he did against the Chargers in the first half. He finished the game very well, but he threw 4 interceptions in the first half alone. The Jaguars had 5 turnovers in that game. And they were still able to pull it off, but if they do that against the Chiefs, then guess what? The Chiefs are going to win that game. You know, they're going to run away with it. And I think this matchup starts with that, turnovers, because you got to talk about that from the Chiefs side too. And the Kansas City Chiefs have struggled with turnovers this year. And number one objective for this game is to play clean football. Like, do not turn the ball over. Do not make stupid mistakes. Special teams, they got to stop being a disaster like they were all year. And before, many times we've seen this team kind of flip that switch going into the postseason, and mistakes that they typically made during the regular season kind of go away. At least for the most part, there definitely seems to be a mental switch that gets flipped for the Kansas City Chiefs when they get into the postseason. And I think if they're focused, if they're fired up for this game, which they should be because it's a playoff game, then they're going to be just fine. I need to see them, because I said this during the regular season, and I'm not, getting off of that just because the Chiefs are in the playoffs now. I said during the regular season, I need this team to prove to me that they can stop turning the ball over. And this is their first game of the 2022 postseason, and I got to see it. And if I can see it in this game, then I'm going to trust this team going forward. Last time the Chiefs faced the Jaguars in the regular season, I believe it was week 10, they turned the ball over 4 times. Onside kick at the very beginning of the game, the Jaguars were able to recover it. Chiefs didn't really see it coming. Jody Fortson fumbled a kickoff return in that game. Patrick Mahomes threw an interception to Andre Sisco, who we'll get into a little bit later. And which one am I missing? They had one more turnover in that game that Pacheco fumbled. That's right. So, yeah, they turned the ball over essentially 4 times. And they still won by double digits in that game, which is insane. Now, the Jaguars are playing a lot better since that game. In fact, since that game against Kansas City, the Jaguars that was a turning point in their season, and they've been playing a lot better football since then. Trevor Lawrence has taken his game up a level, and Doug Peterson has those guys fighting. And I think if the Jaguars are going to have any chance in this one, Doug Peterson's going to have to draw up a hell of a game for them. And that's the one thing that scares me about them. I've always respected Doug Peterson as a head coach. I loved him when he was in Kansas City. I thought the Eagles were insane for firing him just 2 years after he won them a Super Bowl. And I knew from day one when the Jaguars hired him that he was going to turn that franchise around. He was exactly the coach they needed. Not only did the Jaguars need a good X's and O's coach, which I believe Doug Peterson is, I also think they needed someone to turn around that culture. Again, Doug Peterson, he's capable of that. And you've seen that. He took a team that won 2 games last year with Urban Meyer, and they made the playoffs this year. I think when you look at these two teams personnel-wise, though, the Kansas City Chiefs definitely overmatch the Jacksonville Jaguars. I just think they have a lot more talent. The Jaguars have made a massive stride this past year in improving the talent on their roster, and they made some good additions this offseason, Christian Kirk being one of them, who killed the Chiefs in this first matchup in the regular season. L'Jarius Sneed had one of his worst days, one of his worst games of the regular season against the Jaguars. Christian Kirk was really giving him a lot of trouble. But if the Chiefs handle business, they're going to win this game easily. That said, there's a few intriguing elements to the Jaguars that I think Chiefs fans should look out for in this game. And if the Jaguars are going to have a chance, these are the things that I would look out for. One, the Jaguars running game. I believe the Chiefs did a pretty good job last time holding Travis Etienne in check, but he ran for over 100 yards against the Chargers. Granted, the Chargers don't have a very good rushing defense. I really do like Travis Etienne, and I think he has the ability to run all over this Chiefs defense if they're not taking the run seriously and if they come out slacking early. Secondly, I don't think anybody, not even the Jaguars, saw themselves making it this far this year, and they're playing with house money this weekend. I expect Doug Peterson to go for it on damn near every single fourth down. I expect him to try some crazy stuff. I wouldn't be surprised if he came out with another onside kick at some point in this game. Like, look out for Doug Peterson and the Jaguars trying everything. The Chiefs got to be playing every single defensive possession like it's 4-down territory for the Jaguars, no matter where they're at on the field, because I think Doug Peterson is crazy enough to try that. And look, I don't blame them. I mean, the Jaguars, really, they're playing with house money. No one is picking them to win this game. And then lastly, I'm looking at Christian Kirk again. You know, he's a really good slot receiver. Yeah, the Jaguars overpaid for him this past offseason, but he's a really good player, and he cooked this Chiefs team the last time these two teams faced. Defensively, the Jaguars don't really scare me. They ranked 27th in the league in pass defense this past year, pass yards given up per game, and I think the Chiefs will be able to throw on them fairly easily like they were able to last time. I also am not overwhelmed by their pass rush. I think their defensive end, Josh Allen, is a very good matchup for Orlando Brown, actually, because he wins with power, and that is an area in which Orlando Brown can handle pretty easily. He struggles with those speed rushers, but that's not really Josh Allen. Maybe they could put Trayvon Walker on him, but Trayvon Walker is still a very raw prospect, and I think Orlando Brown will be able to deal with him pretty easily. Then you got Andrew Wiley on the other side. I think he can hold his own in this one. That side of the line wasn't really an issue last time either when these two teams faced. I think Patrick Mahomes will have plenty of time to throw. Again, the Jaguars defense just doesn't really scare me. They've made improvements from last year, but this isn't a vaunted unit by any means, and definitely not one that the Chiefs should be worried about necessarily. Just play clean football, okay? Patrick Mahomes, don't force something that's not there. Don't mess around. Don't fumble the ball if you're any of the Chiefs skill players. That's stuff that has held this team back. They had a turnover in 9 straight games this year, including the Jaguars game. So they just got to play clean football. Like, that is the number one key. You play clean football, you win this game. And keep the ball away from the Jaguars. Don't be giving the ball away on offense. Don't be giving the ball away at all, but especially on offense as well. And you know what? Andre Sisco, the guy that got 2 cheap shots on Juju Smith-Schuster and Marquez Valdes-Scantling in the last game. He also knocked Juju out for a couple games because of that hit that was clearly illegal. And by the way, the refs picked up the flag on it, which was ridiculous. And then Andre Sisco ended up being fined by the NFL for that hit after that game, yet the flag was picked up. I don't know. That made no sense. But Andre Sisco, if I were him, I would be looking out in this game because I think the Chiefs are looking for some petty revenge. And I wouldn't be surprised if Andy Reid and company drew up a play going right at Andre Sisco over the top because, again, this Jaguars pass defense, not great this year. I think the Chiefs can go right over them. I would go right at Andre Sisco. I would test him early. And if I was a Chiefs player that was blocking on a play, I would just go ahead and just bulldoze Andre Sisco while I had the opportunity. Send that guy a message. But more specifically, when it comes to the offensive game plan, I say just get the ball in your playmakers' hands. You don't need to do anything crazy. You don't need to put Patrick Mahomes at risk for longer than you need to in this game. Kadarius Toney, he really ate last time against the Jaguars. I say get Kadarius Toney going, get him touches here early in the postseason. I would also run the ball quite a lot too. I think the Chiefs actually ran the ball very successfully last time on the Jaguars. Isaiah Pacheco actually had a really good day. He just had that bad fumble. But I would go ahead and I would hand the ball off to Isaiah Pacheco, and then you got Jerick McKinnon on third down to bail you out if you need to, because he just won AFC Offensive Player of the Month. He had 9 touchdowns. So just get the ball in your playmakers' hands, and I think the Chiefs will be all right in this one. Defensively, pass defense needs to tighten up against Christian Kirk. I'd also look out for Marvin Jones. I feel like he's a very underrated receiver that the Jaguars have. Zay Jones as well has kind of revived his career a little bit there. You just got to account for those guys, and Evan Engram too. I mean, he's also bounced back this year, and he's a guy that Doug Peterson really likes to utilize in this Jaguars offense. So pass defense, just tighten up. Justin Reed has been playing really good football as of lately. That's a guy I think about. You need him to step up this postseason. I mean, you need everybody to step up this postseason, but he's a guy specifically that I'll be watching closely tomorrow. Willie Gay as well at the second level of this defense. Willie Gay, I feel like kind of plateaued this year a little bit. We kind of wanted to see him take a big jump, and it didn't really happen, whether it was because, he was suspended earlier this year and could never really get going, or there's the aspect of Steve Spagnuolo, who consistently takes Willie Gay off the field on third down, even though he's probably their best coverage linebacker. I never really understood that, but I really would like Willie Gay to have a big day in this game because he actually looked really good against the Jaguars last time. I believe he was one of their leading tacklers in that game. I'd have to go back and look. But look out for Willie Gay. And then I want to see this pass rush really get home in the postseason against a quality opponent. You're in the playoffs. All these teams are good teams, including the Jaguars. And the Chiefs have struggled a little bit to get their pass rush going against better opponents. And if we could see Chris Jones get a sack or two in this game, get his first playoff sack, see George Karlaftis carry that momentum from the end of the regular season into this game, I'm going to be feeling really good about this pass rush for the rest of the playoffs because that's an area of this Chiefs team that just has failed them in the postseason the past couple of years. And teams that rush the passer are typically the ones that go far in the postseason. You saw what happened last year against the Bengals when the Chiefs could barely get to Joe Burrow all game, even though the Tennessee Titans were able to sack Joe Burrow 9 times when they played them in the divisional round. So I'm going to be looking at the pass rush in this game. I think Chris Jones will be able to record a sack in this game, though. That Jaguars interior is not all that great. In fact, I believe they're pretty beat up, and I think Chris Jones could really have a big game and get that first playoff sack. And then you have the Arrowhead aspect, the Arrowhead advantage. Trevor Lawrence had some comments earlier this week that he doesn't think Arrowhead Stadium is much louder than Jacksonville. Look, I was at the AFC Championship game last year. I regret going because of the results of the game, but I was at that game last year. And there is no louder stadium than Arrowhead Stadium, especially during a playoff game, man. Like, Trevor Lawrence has no idea what he's in for. He shouldn't have said that because he's just giving bulletin material to the fans. And I think he's going to be in for a rude awakening this weekend. I mean, the Chargers was a big stage. That playoff game, that was his first playoff game. He struggled in that one. And I think he's really going to struggle in this one, especially with that raucous Arrowhead crowd. And I think the Chiefs are going to hand Trevor Lawrence his first Saturday loss in his football career. But yeah, I'm excited for this game, guys. Those are all my thoughts heading into this game, though. I'm just ready to see it. I'm ready for the game to start, and then I can react to it afterwards. I mean, think about it, guys. All the Chiefs have to do is win this game, and they are right back in the AFC Championship. Right back in the AFC Championship. And then after that, you win one more, you're in the Super Bowl. It is right there, guys. We are right there. But all that being said, I'm going to give you guys my score prediction for this game. And I'm going to go ahead and hand it off to you guys. If you got anything that you want to leave in the comments, I'm going to wrap this thing up. But I think the Chiefs will win tomorrow very comfortably. I say they win 31-14. I think they take an early lead. Jaguars make it maybe a little bit interesting before halftime, and then the Chiefs run away with the game in the second half. But, yeah, 31-14 Chiefs win. That's my prediction. Would like to hear from you guys in the comments, though, what your predictions are for this game and what are your just general feelings heading into this game. Would love to hear from you guys. All that being said, make sure you like, share, and subscribe so more Chiefs fans can find this. And make sure you check out my work on showmefootball.com and arrowheadaddict.com. And I will see you all in the next one. Go Chiefs!